Hi everybody, Becky Lynn here with Busy, Smart, and Strong, and I have a guest today that's got some really interesting things to talk about. Do you ever have trouble sleeping? I'm sure you do at some point. I sure do. Everybody that I know has trouble sleeping at some point. But Lori Ledley is the owner of Valley Sleep Centers, and she told me about a host of sleep disorders. One might be bothering you. We're going to find out. She's going to describe some of them, and you might say, could that be? But we're also going to talk about some that you've probably heard about, know about, and maybe what we can do about them. Hi, Lori.
Hi, how are you, Becky?
Good. Glad to have you here today. Boy, you sent me some interesting names of sleep problems, and you told me that they're, for the most part, fairly rare. But I couldn't resist finding out about exploding head syndrome. What on earth is that?
Exploding head syndrome is where when you fall asleep, what we normally get is like a jerk, but these patients will actually get like a bomb exploding in their head or a gun going off or a crashing sound. So pretty traumatic, and ends up causing a lot of psychological and emotional issues because it becomes scary to go to sleep.
Well, I would think it would, if they hear this, they wake back up, right?
They wake up and then they're afraid to go back to sleep because it's going to happen again, and it's very, very scary. So,
and this is not exactly like when we're dreaming that we've fallen down the stairs and we jerk awake.
Right, no, that's different. That's a hypnic jerk, which we all get that. In fact, I had it last night. It was so funny reading all this stuff and going, I need to review this, and happened to me, starting to fall asleep, and it's very common. It happens more if you're sleep deprived. So if you're stressed out and you're not getting the right amount of sleep, you'll have these type of things happen more often.
Okay, so exploding head syndrome is one, fairly rare, but there it is. And then sleeping beauty syndrome. And you say it mostly happens with men.
Yeah, and that's the one that we call Kleine-Levin Syndrome that I was thinking of. And Kleine-Levin Syndrome is something that you would experience just off and on, very sporadic. We'll see it in men. Usually happens even like in college age young men, where they'll sleep for 20 hours a day.
And that's not just teenager syndrome.
No,
oh, okay.
And it's very serious. So if you have anyone in your life having these type of symptoms where they'll sleep for 20 hours a day, they definitely need to be evaluated by a sleep physician.
That sounds pretty scary.
Yeah.
Narcolepsy, we know about that one, I think. That's where you just kind of fall asleep at the drop of a hat.
And narcolepsy is interesting because a lot of people will think they have narcolepsy because they'll fall asleep all the time, but it's very important that we evaluate them at night to see if they have an underlying sleep disorder, because many times something like sleep apnea or another sleep disorder could represent itself as narcolepsy because they're falling asleep during the day all the time. But true narcolepsy is very, very rare, and you'll have things like cataplectic events where you'll if heightened emotion, you'll just faint or fall. But we have to rule out any nighttime sleep disorder before we can actually diagnose you with narcolepsy.
You also mentioned a disorder that's involved with REM, and I can't remember what you called it, but it's when you're in your deepest sleep and you act out your dreams.
Right, REM behavior disorder. So this is a disorder that we see in older men. And basically what happens is when we go to sleep, we have non-REM and REM sleep. So in REM sleep, we have no muscle tone. That's when you're dreaming, your eyes are twitching, so it's rapid eye movement, that's what it's called. So your diaphragm and your eye muscles in your brain are really the only muscles that should be working during REM sleep. Well, with REM behavior disorder, what happens is they do have muscle tone. There's kind of a disconnect there, and they'll act out their dreams, which can be very violent because our dreams sometimes, you're defending yourself so we always ask people, have you ever hurt anyone during your sleep? Have you ever hurt yourself? So if you answer yes to those are things that, again, you need to be evaluated by a board-certified sleep physician.
Which you have at Valley Sleep Centers.
Yes.
And also there's things that snoring is a disorder, and most of us have been around someone who snores very loudly at night. And you said that's actually a health problem.
Yes, a big health problem. Snoring is our number one thing that we see at Valley Sleep Center. Obstructive sleep apnea, there's also central sleep apnea. These are things that are causing, major issues with your metabolism, very, very destructive to your overall health. You're 5 times more likely to die of cancer if you have obstructive sleep apnea. You're going to have high blood pressure most likely. You're going to have heart disease, stroke. I mean, it is very, very serious. If you snore and you're tired during the day, you definitely need to get evaluated.
When you look at serious sleep disorders like most of these are there medications to take? Is there surgery involved, or is it some kind of psychological issue?
No, there's definitely all kinds of sleep disorders, and there's all kinds of ways to treat them. We have amazing medications now that help people have productive lives. It used to be if you had narcolepsy, you couldn't even drive. We have great medications now, and the most important thing that you do is talk to your doctor. But if you're going to go see someone, you need to see a board-certified sleep physician, and you need to be evaluated in an accredited sleep center. Those are the things that are really important, because you want to get the right treatment, because it's complex. The brain, it's your brain. And if your brain isn't resting to the full potential at night, the rest of your body is going to suffer.
Well, definitely lack of sleep is a big issue for a lot of people, and these are just so amazing. Another one that was really interesting was sleep-related eating disorder, and I think that is even more involved than just getting up and having a snack in the middle of the night. You don't know you had that snack. So lots of strange things, but maybe some of these pertain to you. Well, Valley Sleep Center might be able to help you. Check with your doctor and check with their doctors, and I hope you get a good night's sleep. Thanks, Lori.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
you telling
Thank
us
you.
about it. Thanks for watching Busy, Smart, and Strong.